What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Netflix new limited series, Delirium. Let's rock this. Okay, so this show comes all the way from the country Colombia, and Netflix has only granted me the advanced screeners to just the first 3 episodes. Usually when a show is good, I'd say 3 episodes are more than enough, I am sold, blah blah blah. But this unfortunately is not one of those cases because I found Delirium to be absolutely dreadful. I know, it's not fair to judge an entire show based on just the first few episodes. But after having seen them, I'm not sure if I want to stick around and see more of it. And I don't know how many total episodes Delirium ultimately has. But anybody who decides to sit through this entire shitty period piece soap opera is a glutton for punishment. I don't know how else to explain it. Delirium is tedious, convoluted, tiresome. The narrative covers way too many grounds. The characters are unpleasant. The performances are over the top. Forget the whole mental health objective. You might lose your mind watching Delirium. That's how bad it is. Written and showrun by Veronica Triana and Andres Burgess, and inspired by Laura Restrepo's acclaimed novel, Delirium tells the story of Fernando Aguilar, a university literature professor who returns to Bogotá in the early 1980s after a short trip to find his young wife Agustina Londoño in a state of delirium. What happened during the days he was away, days she cannot account for. Aguilar embarks on a desperate search to uncover what drove her to the brink of madness, while she tries to find herself within the labyrinth of her own mind in order to regain her sanity. As the mystery of the lost days unfolds, secrets about Midas, a love she has kept to herself, are revealed, along with the turbulent dynamics within Agustina's family. Starring Estefania Piñeres, Juan Pablo Raba, and Guadalupe Mejia. Obviously, I don't know how it is in the book, which I've never read. I can only judge Delirium merely on this adaptation alone. And while generally I don't mind a non-linear narrative structure that jumps back and forth between past and present, but the way that Delirium does it is a jumbled up mess. It was hard for me to keep track on who is who and which events are we watching currently right now, and how exactly does point A connect to point B. At first I approached it like a puzzle, but I ended up not giving a damn at all because it just got exhaustingly dull, and there's a disconnect between what the showrunners think is interesting and what the audiences consider to be interesting. The drama also gets way too heavy. Needlessly heavy at times. There is a prolonged focus on Agustina's suffering, like the show is some kind of a suffering porn. It starts out with us empathizing or feeling sympathy for her pain, but then it gets repetitive and overwhelming, where it just becomes too much, to the point where we feel a sense of emotional distance from the characters. So there's this toxic relationship, and in the past there's an abusive parenting going on, and in her young adult years, a man who may or may not be her lover is dealing drugs. So it's a psychological drama that also wants to be a crime saga at the same time, but it doesn't have a cohesive structure to do both. And look, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert or anything, but if this show's objective is to raise awareness on an actual human condition called delirium, it does a terrible job at it too. Because on some parts it looks more like schizophrenia. On other parts it looks more like your regular past trauma. And hell, maybe they kind of converge in that they have similar symptoms and all, but it just seems so all over the place on this show. And some of the characters are frustrating. The professor's friends already told him, hey, don't go with that woman. She's trouble. Hell, even the woman herself, Agustina, warns him, I'm crazy, you won't be able to handle me. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And yet, despite all those obvious red flags, he still chooses her, chaining himself to a life of stress. That's not love, that's just stupid. And he calls himself a professor? Pfft. So yeah, overall I give Delirium the rating of 1.5 out of 5. Listen, mental health is a serious issue that deserves a thoughtful on-screen depiction. Unfortunately, Delirium is not it.
Pues el viento